The envelope arrived on a rainy Thursday in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and by the time I opened it, my hands were shaking. Inside was a handwritten note from my ex-girlfriend's mother, not my ex, her mother, and the last line stopped my heart. "Nathan, I need a husband for 1 year, and I'm hoping you'll consider becoming him. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that remind us how powerful love and grace can be." 3 years earlier, my relationship with Rachel had ended quietly. There had been no betrayal, no dramatic fight, just two young people realizing they wanted different futures. The breakup hurt, but eventually we both moved on. What surprised me was that I never lost contact with Rachel's mother, Grace. Grace had always treated me like family. She was one of those rare people who remembered birthdays, sent encouraging messages when life got difficult, and somehow made everyone feel important. After Rachel and I separated, I assumed Grace would disappear from my life too. Instead, she occasionally checked on me. When my father passed away, she attended the funeral. When I lost my job during a difficult economic downturn, she mailed me a handwritten card, reminding me not to lose faith. She never crossed boundaries, but her kindness stayed with me. Now, years later, she was asking for something impossible. When I finally met Grace at a small coffee shop near the river, she looked nervous. For the first time since I had known her, she seemed vulnerable. The truth was unexpected. Her late husband had owned farmland that had been in the family for generations. Due to a complicated trust agreement, she would lose management control of the property unless she remained legally married for 1 continuous year following a pending ownership transfer. The arrangement had been created decades earlier by relatives who believed family land should remain under married stewardship. Grace didn't care about the money. She cared about the families who worked the land. She cared about the employees whose livelihoods depended on it. Selling wasn't an option she could accept. She had explored every legal path available. Nothing worked. Then she thought of me, a person she trusted, a person she knew would never take advantage of her. I should have said no immediately. Instead, I found myself staring at someone who had helped me through some of the darkest moments of my life. And I couldn't walk away. 2 months later, we signed papers at a small courthouse. The reactions were exactly what you'd expect. Friends were confused. Neighbors whispered. Even Rachel was stunned. Yet, to my surprise, Rachel eventually called and gave her blessing. She told me she knew her mother trusted me more than almost anyone. That should have made things easier. It didn't, because living under the same roof changed everything. Grace and I were not strangers, but we were suddenly sharing daily life. Morning coffee became conversations. Conversations became friendship. Friendship became something deeper. Neither of us wanted to name. I learned about the loneliness she carried after losing her husband years earlier. She learned about the fears I hid behind jokes and optimism. For years I had felt like life was happening around me, while everyone else moved forward. Grace understood that feeling better than anyone. As seasons changed across the Iowa countryside, the walls between us slowly disappeared. One winter evening, a heavy snowstorm knocked out power across the county. Wrapped in blankets beside a fireplace, we spent hours talking about regrets, dreams, faith, and the strange ways life rewrites our plans. For the first time in years, I felt truly seen, not judged, not fixed, seen. That realization frightened me, because our agreement had an NDZ expiration date. Every day brought us closer to the end of the year, closer to the moment when everything would be over. Or so I thought. Spring arrived. The farmland transfer was completed. The legal requirement had been satisfied. The final papers sat on a dining room table waiting to be signed. One signature and our unusual arrangement would officially end. That morning felt heavier than any day I could remember. I stood on the porch, watching sunlight stretch across the fields. Those fields had been the reason we started this journey, but they were no longer the reason I stayed. Grace walked outside, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Neither of us spoke for a long moment. The silence carried a year's worth of memories. Every challenge, every laugh, every quiet act of kindness. every ordinary day that had somehow become extraordinary. Then she looked at me with tears in her eyes, and for the first time, neither of us hid behind the agreement anymore. We admitted the truth. Somewhere, between helping each other and healing together, we had fallen in love, not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily, honestly, and deeply. Before we reach the ending, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced an unexpected second chance that completely changed your life? Leave a comment below and share your story with our community. The divorce papers were never signed. Instead, 6 months later, Grace and I stood in a small white church surrounded by friends, family, and even Rachel, who smiled through happy tears as she watched her mother begin a new chapter. Life didn't become perfect. No life ever does, but it became meaningful in ways neither of us could have imagined. The arrangement that started as a temporary solution became the foundation of a permanent love built on trust, respect, friendship, and faith. Years later, whenever people ask how we met, we usually laugh at how unbelievable the story sounds. Yet, the lesson remains simple. Sometimes, the greatest blessings arrive disguised as responsibilities. Sometimes healing comes from places we never think to look. And sometimes the person who changes your future isn't someone new at all. It's someone who was quietly walking beside you all along. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more uplifting stories. Your support helps these messages of hope reach people who may need them today. And as the sun set over those Iowa fields, Grace squeezed my hand, and I realized something beautiful. The year she needed a husband had ended. The lifetime we wanted together had just begun.